Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Karen from the developer marketing team at Atlassian, and this is the Forge Roadmap webinar for Q1 2022. If you're joining for the first time, we do this webinar once per quarter, and each time we feature presenters from the Forge product team talking about what's new and coming soon. So today we have a lot to cover, but before we get into it, I'll just go over our agenda and a few logistics. So first up, we're joining you live today with one exception. Our team is based in the US, in Europe, and in Australia. We do want this to be an interactive presentation, and we've reserved some time at the end to do Q&A. You can send in your question at any time during the presentation using the Q&A widget that's in your Zoom controls. We'll try to get through as many of your questions as we have time for. Some questions may need a little bit more research to properly answer. So if we aren't able to get to your question live, please do post it in the community and we'll address the question afterwards. And then last note, today's webinar is being recorded. So we'll send the recording out to you by email, usually within about 3 days or so, just as soon as we get it edited for the web. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at today's agenda. So first, I'll be introducing you to Johnny Ferguson, the head of product management for Ecosystem Platform. Johnny will take us through the leadership perspective on the state of Forge. Then we've reserved the rest of the time to cover the Forge roadmap and Q&A. We have a really packed agenda this time with 7 product managers from the Forge team talking about what's new with their area of the product. The presentation today will include previews of unreleased features and forward-looking statements. Timelines and features are subject to change, and we do ask that you consider these statements for informational purposes and not a binding commitment. We'll communicate changes to the best of our abilities, but these forecasts involve known and unknown risks, uncertainties, and assumptions. So with that, I'm pleased to introduce you to our first speaker, Johnny Ferguson. Johnny, I'll hand it to you.
Thanks, Karen. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge events weighing heavily in all of our minds. As a company and as citizens of a global community, we're appalled by the actions of the Russian government in its invasion of Ukraine. We have a large and dedicated team monitoring all aspects of the invasion and how it affects our people, customers, and partners. Atlassian has released an official statement on our support for Ukraine, our priorities during the war, and the actions we have taken as a company. Please get in touch with your partner manager if you have questions. We are working hard to keep you informed and up to date about actions that impact you and your team. Now, to begin our presentation, I want to start with a look at where we've been. I know many of you in the audience today were with us at Atlas Camp in 2019. This event was a big day for the community and a big milestone for Forge as well. It was the first time we unveiled Forge in a big way. There are a few things that are remarkable about that keynote presentation when I watch it today. One is that the challenge we set out to solve with Forge still feel highly relevant. Building and maintaining apps is complex and only getting more so as the bar for security goes higher and higher. Although some of the challenges we talked about in 2019 are still very much on our minds, we are making tremendous progress. A developer building their first app today can expect a very different and improved experience versus building a first app 3 years ago. Now let's fast forward to today. It might feel good to get on stage and talk about big plans, but that isn't the real work. There are a lot of people whose faces you never see and a lot of incremental improvements that may not be visible. Every day we get closer to solving some of those challenges we originally set out to solve. Since Forge became generally available in May of 2021, over 5,600 apps have been created by developers outside of Atlassian. The greater part of this figure is made up of private apps built by customers alongside Forge apps that are available today in Marketplace. While we've made a substantial investment into Forge, Forge isn't the only focus for Ecosystem Platform. Apps play a pivotal role in customers' migration to cloud, and we are approaching the problem from several angles. For our existing partner community who have apps built on Connect, we know you rely on the continued support of Connect APIs to ensure your apps provide continuity, both for landing new cloud customers and migrating on-prem customers to cloud. We also recognize that you have data center apps that are serving the needs of some of Atlassian's largest and most complex customers. So cloud apps must meet a very high bar for functionality, performance, and trustworthiness. For customer organizations who rely on apps you built yourselves, we know cloud apps must provide an equivalent or better experience in terms of maintainability, extensibility, and security. That's why we've allocated a portion of our resources to continued development of Connect. At the same time, we're working to make Forge a viable solution for supporting large and complex customers who are moving to cloud, so Atlassian can share some of the burden of security and data management. This means that while we continue to grow Forge, you'll have the support you need to continue running your business on Connect, and you'll have options to meet the growing business opportunity of migrating customers heading to cloud. We know that this is thinking and progress isn't always visible to partners, and we want to do a better job of sharing our thinking early and often. Some of what we're working on isn't visible. It doesn't mean we've lost sight of that big vision. We believe that Forge is a transformative technology both for our customers and our partners, and all of the interconnected teams who rely on Atlassian to power their work. We believe in Forge, and one of the ways we're doubling down is by using Forge ourselves. We're currently approaching dogfooding on multiple levels. Some of the ways we're dogfooding Forge are deeply tied to the way we build new products at Atlassian. Smart Links is one example, and we plan to share more in this area soon. We're also asking our teams to put themselves in the shoes of partners by building apps on Forge. We recently migrated a Connect app to Forge and shared a detailed write-up of the process on the developer blog. The app was actually one of the first apps built on Connect, so it's fitting that it was also one of the first Connect apps to move to Forge. Dogfooding is an essential way that we test out new processes and sometimes feel the pain ourselves. The only way we can build a better developer experience is by confronting the challenges head-on, learning from internal and external feedback, and incrementally improving. We are seeing signals that we're moving in the right direction. I'm struck by something a partner said recently. There's never been a better time to be a new developer in the Atlassian marketplace. That speaks to the experience we're working to create for first-time Atlassian app builders. We've made a big bet that when we lower the barrier to building powerful apps, everyone benefits. We want to get good ideas into the hands of customers. As an ecosystem developer, if you have a good idea, we want you to be able to build it with as little friction as possible. Because let's be honest, it hasn't always been easy to build a new app, to be a new app developer, particularly on cloud. Setting up your own web service is complicated, sometimes even for experienced developers. The example you see here shows what the architecture might look like for a Connect app that ingests an issue-created webhook from Jira. If users make bulk updates across many tenants, the number of webhooks can quickly overwhelm the app. To account for this, many app builders layer on additional services, and the architecture grows in complexity. And here, we're just talking about the infrastructure to handle incoming events. We haven't even touched on storage, tenant isolation, or any of the other considerations app developers need to think about. When you scale up that example to a real Connect app, you start to get something like the diagram you see here in the background. Many layers, many interconnected paths, and many possible points of failure if something in the configuration is wrong. This is why serverless functions have become hugely popular in recent years. Developers have gone from thinking about physical machines to virtual machines and containers, to now writing a function and letting the platform handle the rest. As a developer, you can spend your time on business logic instead of working lower in the stack. Going back to the webhook example from the previous slide, let's look at what that would look like on Forge instead of Connect. We can actually just discard the architecture diagram entirely and look at the code. Whether your Forge app is receiving one webhook or 10,000, Forge will scale to handle it. You get all of that infrastructure out of the box. With just a few lines of code, you can define which events your app consumes, and then you can focus on what your app should do in response to that event. Best of all, you don't need to worry about that incorrect configuration might overwhelm your app and take down your service, or even worse, put your customers' data at risk. We've been talking a lot about new app builders, but existing partners also benefit from less complexity. If you didn't need to think about infrastructure, what could you do with those resources instead? Forge allows you to be more productive with a smaller team. Instead of adding headcount to increase your productivity, you can invest back into other areas of your business. Forge lets you do more with the team that you have. If you're an existing partner, you still might be wondering where this leaves Connect. I want to be clear. If you built your business and your products on Connect, we will not pull the rug from under you. Connect has been an important stepping stone to cloud, and we know that the full range of use cases that are possible through Connect may never be possible entirely within Forge. There will always be apps that need to harness compute-heavy technologies like machine learning, or apps that need to send data off Atlassian to do their core function. Forge will support this. However, we need to make changes to Connect in order to provide a secure experience for our mutual customers. We know some partners have been put in a position where they feel they have no acceptable alternatives to features being discontinued in Connect, and we hear you. It's a position we never want to put our partners in, and we are committing to making it right. We take security very seriously, but we have to balance it with what's feasible for partners to act on. In the case where we are deprecating insecure technologies, we will make our plans clear ahead of time and consult with you to ensure the deprecation period is reasonable. If you are finding that you are missing key capabilities, we will also work with you on how to remediate that. At the end of last year, we surveyed partners on some of the barriers you are facing building an app on Forge, and we shared the findings from that survey with the community. On this side, you will see a few of the top blockers that we heard from you. I want to give you an update on where we are today. We've reassessed and raised platform limits for both storage and invocation time in direct response to your feedback. We'll cover that in greater detail in this presentation. We've also made great strides towards addressing the need for more extension points to reach parity with Connect and beyond. We'll have a few updates for you on that today too. And then one of our biggest updates. We're happy to share with you that Forge now supports Jira Service Management. Jira Service Management is Atlassian's fastest growing product at scale, and we hear from partners that JSM is a top priority for Forge. The growth and popularity of Jira Service Management with customers also presents a tremendous opportunity for partners, and we want to ensure that partners building for JSM are able to take advantage of Forge. Resolution is a partner who back in 2021 teamed up with Jexo to run a hackathon-style evaluation on Forge. They posted a detailed write-up of their feedback in the community, and one of the biggest gaps Resolution identified was lack of support for Jira Service Management. Our team recently reconnected with Resolution to share some early plans for JSM support. We're excited to remove a top Forge blocker for this partner, and we're even more excited to see what the broader partner community builds with these new capabilities. I'm sure you want to hear more about what's new and planned for product expansion, so that's an excellent place to hand over things to Joe Clark.
Hi, everyone. My name's Joe. I'm a product manager on the Forge team here at Atlassian, and I'm here to talk to you about new Atlassian products that we're bringing to Forge. I am pre-recording my session because when you watch this, it's going to be 4 a.m. in the morning for me in Western Australia. So I decided I would try and get some actual sleep instead of meeting with you live. I'm a little bit disappointed that I wasn't able to present live to you, but hopefully I get an opportunity to do so in the future. So let's get into it and talk about the exciting news that I have to share. So our ultimate goal is to get Forge everywhere. I'm sure that's not surprising to you. We want one cloud development platform across the entire Atlassian cloud suite. And I believe this is a pretty important goal. I think it's good for our customers, it's good for Atlassian, and it's good for you as the app developer. We're bringing more products and more extensibility options to Forge. We're opening up opportunities for new kinds of apps to be created that don't exist today, and we're bringing more potential customers into the Atlassian marketplace, some of whom are maybe not even there at all today. So business opportunities and use case opportunities coming together. Forge released last year with support for Confluence and the core Jira platform in general availability. And today I'm excited to give some updates on new releases and future products and platforms that are coming to Forge. So this week we're launching support for Jira Service Management on Forge. Woo, super exciting. This launch is adding new features to the Forge platform and allows the creation of Forge apps that specifically target Jira Service Management to solve use cases for that product. As part of this release, free and paid Forge apps can be listed as compatible with Jira Service Management on the marketplace. There are also new OAuth 2 scopes that have been launched, and those are necessary for the Forge runtime to call Jira Service Management specific REST APIs. And we've added 8 new extension points for Jira Service Management screens to Forge. And we have a couple more, about 3, that are going to be released over the next month or so. Soon, we'll also be adding support for request participants without an Atlassian account, so kind of like anonymous request participants, to view and interact with Forge apps. And in exciting developments, this feature will also enhance the overall platform by allowing Forge apps to work for anonymous users in public Jira issues and Confluence pages. That's quite an exciting development that we've been able to work on as part of launching Forge for Jira Service Management. We're enhancing the overall platform as well, which is cool. In terms of the new extension points themselves, we'll have extension points for agents in the queue page and organization panel, and there'll be new extension points for customers visible in the customer portal and request view. These new extension points are functionally equivalent to the web item and web panel locations that are available in Atlassian Connect for Jira Service Management today. And we're optimistic they're going to enable a range of use cases for custom apps built on Forge for Jira Service Management. The functionality is ready to go today. You can go to developer.atlassian.com and see the documentation and start building. We're eager to hear feedback on how we can support you with additional extension points and capabilities that you might need to build the app idea that you have. And we're looking forward to a bright future for Jira Service Management and Forge together. Next up, we're talking about Compass and Forge. So Compass is a new Atlassian product that helps software teams navigate their distributed architecture, bringing disconnected information about engineering output and the teams collaborating on that together in a central searchable location. So Compass is Atlassian's first Forge native product. It's been built from the ground up with our developer ecosystem in mind from day one as part of our Point A framework. We believe there's a huge opportunity for marketplace developers to play an early role in building apps and integrations for Compass and helping to shape some of the initial kind of go-to-market opportunity that we're presenting to our customers with Compass. The good news is that developers can start building Forge apps for Compass today. It's all ready to go. We've added a number of Compass-specific UI modules and extension points to the Forge platform, as well as a fit-for-purpose SDK for interacting with the Compass GraphQL API from the Forge runtime. And it's all ready to go. We're excited to see what you're going to build for Compass. We want to get your feedback about how we can continue expanding the extensibility for Compass to support new use cases and your app ideas. To get started, visit go.atlassian.com/Compass developer. While we expand Forge with additional products, we're also integrating new API services and platform features. While I can't forecast a ship date yet, we have been working closely with the automation team to open up the power of automation to marketplace partners and app developers. Soon, I can't say when exactly, but soon you'll be able to declare custom actions and conditions as modules within your Forge app. And that's going to provide new ways to integrate your app with Atlassian products, allow administrators to customize how they use your app, and even integrate with other apps, which is super exciting. And combining this with the recently launched external auth feature of Forge, we're going to greatly simplify the way that your app can integrate with external systems that use OAuth, such as this pretty cool synergy as well of those two features. Additionally, you'll be able to ship rule templates to simplify setup for administrators and kind of showcase the key use cases that you want to demonstrate with your app and automation. Finally, I have some exciting news to share regarding even more products coming to Forge. This is super preliminary. I really had to kind of like talk to a lot of people to convince them that, yes, I'm excited to share this information with the marketplace partners and our broader ecosystem community. It's not too early. It's just exciting. We're currently in partnership with the Bitbucket Cloud team to bring Bitbucket Cloud and Forge together. And this is a really big step towards having one single platform for developing cloud apps and standardizing the developer experience across all Atlassian cloud products and trying to get like a really high quality developer experience across the board. So with Bitbucket Cloud and Forge coming together, there are new opportunities for large enterprises to extend Bitbucket, to supercharge their team's workflows and kind of solve niche requirements in a very extensible, easy way. Also opportunities for new commercial ventures with partners on the marketplace being able to monetize new kinds of apps that's not possible today. So we're very early in the process of onboarding these products. We have many known and unknown technical challenges ahead when it comes to getting Bitbucket and Forge to talk to each other. So I can't share any timelines yet, but I'm really excited about the possibilities here. And I hope you're looking forward to hearing more information soon. And as soon as we have it, I'm going to be sharing it with you. So that's all from me. I hope you're jazzed about the stuff that we've got coming. I certainly am. And I'm going to do my best to be standing by in the live Q&A so that I can say hi to you and answer any questions that you might have. So thanks for your time, and I'll hand back to the rest of the webinar now. See ya.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sushant, a product manager here in the ecosystem platform team. So today, I'm excited to share that we have recently increased some of the Forge platform limits and quotas based on feedback from a lot of our developers and partners. So this includes doubling the storage base quotas to support larger installations, doubling the write operation limits, as well as increasing the quota for the secret storage API for encrypted data like sensitive credentials. We have also increased the API key length from 100 characters to 500 characters, as well as increasing the API value size from 32 kilobytes to 128 kilobytes. And we have updated the process for developers to request custom storage limits for apps that need even higher storage quotas. So this is all additional to the recent increase of the compute runtime from 10 seconds to 25 seconds for all Forge modules. So these limit increases were widely requested by our developers and partners. The recent feedback we received showed that the previous platform limits and quotas were restrictive and a top blocker for apps to be built on Forge, and addressing these pain points was a high priority for us. These improvements will help to address some of these restrictions faced by developers and expand on use cases, helping to build more robust and complex apps on Forge. As Forge adoption increases, we're closely observing the usage data to determine appropriate limits and optimize platform performance. But if you believe your app may exceed these increased limits and quotas, please reach out to us on Developer Service Desk or through the Forge Jira project. We understand that not all of these quotas are easy for you to monitor yourself at the moment, and we are working on improved monitoring tools for better visibility of the quota usage for future releases. We also understand that these new limits may not meet the needs of certain app use cases like media and file storage or file exports or processing of long-running tasks. We will continue exploring how we can address these use cases in the future. We really appreciate all of the feedback we've received so far, and we will continue to improve these limits based on your needs. We want to hear about your app resource requirements and better understand your usage. So please reach out to us so we can prioritize the enhancements that matter most to you and your apps. Thank you. I will now hand over to Jakub.
Thanks, Sushant. Hi, everyone. I'm Jakub, a product manager responsible for Jira Forge integration. Recently, we have released 4 Jira extension points, another 7 are incoming. Some of them are similar to Connect, others open new extensibility areas. I hope that new Jira extension points will help you to build many successful Forge apps. With Forge custom fields on Create Issue View, you can extend Create Issue View. This opens not yet covered use cases like adding watchers or subtasks and many more. With Forge custom, we constantly invest in Forge custom fields. If you don't need a rich UI, you can use Formatter. It is the fastest way to render Forge custom fields. We have also released new data type, datetime. Thanks to additional events, Forge apps can react when Forge custom field is created or its configuration is updated. With project setting page, you can extend project configuration. You can use UIKit or custom UI. Jira Global page. Now, user can open it from the top navigation menu. This is important. Now, every user can open a Forge app from every place in Jira. Jira entity properties enable apps to add key values to Jira. If you have questions, you can ask directly on the ticket. Dashboards. Finally, we'll soon release support for UIKit. Then we will add support for custom UI and auto refresh. With subpages, you can build a complex app menu. Currently, we plan to support custom UI. If you need a UIKit, you can you can write more about why you need it in the ticket. We are interested to hear your opinions. And we continue to invest in Forge custom fields. Value function has been recently released. We plan to improve Forge custom fields user experience. Inline edit on Create Issue View is coming. Issue adjustments. This is a game changer. Thanks to this, you will be able to control how native Jira fields behave. This is really powerful. In June, we plan to release the first version. Further versions are planned for a second part of the year. Soon, Forge apps will be able to open issue view and create issue models. This is also an interesting thing. And finally, refresh issue view. It is one of the most upvoted requests. I'm happy to inform you that it is incoming. Every coming feature has its own ticket. Your votes, questions, and comments matter. That is it. 4G extension points delivered, 7 are incoming. I can't wait to see what kind of apps you will build thanks to new Jira extension points. Thank you. I will now pass on to Grażyna.
Thanks, Jakub. Hi, everyone. I'm Grażyna, a product manager on the Forge team. As you know, workflows are the heart of Jira, governing everything that happens with issues. Over the last few months, we've been working hard to bring the full power of workflows to apps and integration by extending their REST API coverage. Today, I'm here to inform you that we have started working on Jira Workflows extensibility in Forge. As a first phase, we plan to extend Forge to allow app developers to define workflows conditions based on Jira expressions in app model descriptor. Secondly, we plan to deliver the ability for app builders to specify the UI part and save or use saved configuration inside Jira expressions. So after workflow conditions, we plan to focus on workflow validators and pass functions to give you the complete experience around workflows management in Forge. I hope that the new extension points will help you to build many successful apps. As Jakub said, every incoming feature has its public ticket to watch, as you can see on the screen and in chat. We'll keep them updated so you'll see our progress. As our team is building this functionality, your comments, opinions, and use cases really matter for us. So keep them coming. And thank you so much. And I'll pass now over to Adam.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. This is my first webinar. I'm the newest PM on the Forge build team, and I have the honor today to share the big milestone that UIKit is now officially in GA with version 1.0 being released. UIKit, of course, is one of your two options for building the front end of your Forge apps. It's suited to apps more with simpler interfaces, and it makes it easy to build intuitive and familiar experiences by composing the Atlassian components that are already built into Forge. There hasn't been any big scary changes to get us to GA. This is more just a recognition of UIKit's maturity and stability. And of course, 1.0 isn't the end. We've still got some big ideas about how we can grow and enhance UIKit in the future and help it fit more use cases. But you have to stay tuned into future webinars for more news on that. For the moment, I want to talk about your other option for building the front end of your Forge apps, which is custom UI. Custom UI is designed more for complex use cases and increased flexibility. You can use your own static resources like HTML, JavaScript, etc., and is probably the more likely choice for many of you bringing your Connect apps over to Forge. And if you're using custom UI, then you'll be using the custom UI bridge, which is the JavaScript API you use to integrate with the host product, call your backend functions or Atlassian product APIs. And we know that at the moment, the custom UI bridge still is a bit limited, and there's a bunch of cool things you can do with Connect's JavaScript API that you can't do yet in custom UI. And these gaps can prevent you from building the cool user experiences you want on Forge. And so that's obviously something we're keen to address. So some of those gaps that we're looking at, being able to retrieve context tokens, the user's locale and time zone, being able to push product flags into the host products, eventing APIs, navigation things like being able to reload the page, things like that, and a bunch of other smaller things like being able to close a modal programmatically, and just those little things that help make that UX even better. So a few of those things are already in progress, and you'll start to see them rolling out soon. I've started a discussion on community, and if you'd like to follow along, please join us there. Give us your input into those features that are coming up, or just follow along as things roll out. And that's it for custom UI and UIKit. Over to you, Julia.
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm a product manager in Atlassian, and I'm looking more at the security and trust side of things. And I want to give you a very brief update on a project we call Granular Scopes. We just shipped Granular Scopes on the 23rd of February, so very recent. And with Granular Scopes, we're really focusing on increasing app security, which is what Johnny mentioned earlier, is one of the key requirements we hear from our customers for cloud apps. So as the name suggests, the Granular Scopes, what we're shipping with it is new Granular Scopes for Forge and 3.0 apps. They're available now for you to update your apps, and we're running a 6-month deprecation period, during which time we will monitor the adoption rate and keep in touch with developers on the adoption and what is needed to help you updating your apps. The Granular Scopes are a bit of a game changer, really, because we're moving, to give you an idea, for Confluence. We previously had around 10 to 12 scopes, and we're moving now to around 70. So it makes it much more specific what kind of scopes apps are really using and need to function, and it makes it more transparent and clear to customers what data the app is actually accessing. And just to give you a little bit of a preview on what's coming, this is one of the big security initiatives we already shipped, and we're working now more on the admin side of things on a project called Access Narrowing. That will really give the admins the opportunity to not only see what data apps can access, but to also look at, according to their company security policies, what data am I as an admin allowing to access, and they can allow and restrict and make this much more secure for their company. So there's still a lot more to come. It's very exciting in terms of app security, and I'm hopefully be able to give you more details on access narrowing in future webinars. And with that, I'm handing over to Angelina.
Thank you, Julia. Hi, everyone. I'm Agi, one of the PMs from the Forge team. My team looks after the developer console. Currently, we are constraining on Forge app observability. Some of you have already noticed that last month we shipped the first of a series of releases from our Forge app observability stream of work. With this release, you can now access 3 core metrics that gives you insights into the ongoing performance of your Forge apps. As you can see on the next slide, you can now track the functional success rate, which helps you track the overall health of your app, the function error count, which reveals any issues with your app, and the function invocation count that gives you indication of a user interaction with your app. On the next slide, now we've run early access program before releasing that feature, and we've learned from you that while it does help to see how your app is going on a daily basis, but with the information available, it's very difficult to determine the root cause of an issue. For example, without being able to break down metrics by individual installations, it's difficult to determine whether an error spike is associated with certain installation and not other. Moreover, without more context on the errors, it could be difficult to troubleshoot. We also understand that instead of having to visit the developer console every day to see how your app is doing, you would rather want to be notified whenever there is an issue with your app. This is why the next releases you should expect to see filtering metrics by instance, grouping metrics by module, more on function latency, and basic alerting. Also, later this calendar year, you should expect to see more metrics that will help you understand how your app is consuming resources, for example, runtime and storage, so you can plan your app accordingly. With this, I'm handing over back to Karen. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much to all of our presenters. We do have a little bit of time to take a couple of questions from the audience. So first, I'd like to bring back Sushant, if you wouldn't mind turning your camera back on. This question came in from Julian Wolf. And what is the process to request custom storage limits?
Sure. Thanks, Julian, for the question. So right now, the process for requesting custom storage limits is raising a ticket through the developer service desk with the details of the app, the limit and the quota, the storage limit and the quota that needs to be increased, and what the value you'd like the limit to be increased to, as well as the use case for this requirement. So then our team will assess that use case and the requested limit to address your issue. We generally are able to increase the total storage or the secret storage quota if it is a use case that we support. The details and the link to the developer service desk is outlined in the Forge platform limits and quota page in the developer.atlassian.com under the section called Apps Exceeding Quotas and Limits. So currently, we do not support some of the use cases that require higher storage capacity, like storage of files or media, but we will be exploring these kind of use cases in the future. So for any non-storage limit requests, increase requests, we ask that you raise a ticket via the Forge Jira project, and we will explore these for future releases. We are currently also updating the docs to clarify this request process as well, but right now you'll find most of the details in the document I mentioned earlier. And I will link that document in the chat so everyone has that handy as well. Thanks. Thanks, Karen. I'll hand back to you.
Great. Thanks, Sushant. Our next question, I'm going to direct this over to Adam. This question comes from Dimitri from Stiltsoft. Do you have plans to support inline macros for Confluence?
Thanks for the question, Dimitri. The answer to that question is definitely yes. It's actually, I think, the top voted request in the Forge Jira project. So thanks for all the people that have already sort of put their votes in there. I'm not sure exactly when yet. We're still working with the Confluence team to sort of get a few things in line for that. So whether it's sort of the coming quarter or a following quarter, I'm not too sure, but that as well as sort of macro bodies and being able to do macro configs using custom UI, those things we know are all very important and well-used features in Connect. And so we are trying to bring those over to Forge as soon as we can.
Great. Thank you, Adam. Next up, Johnny, I'll call on you. I've got a couple of questions here from Daniel Wester. The first question is, when will Forge support teams developing apps allowing for multiple owners of an app?
Thanks for that. Hi, Daniel. So we call this multi-user app ownership, and we have it as one of our top priorities for this year. For FY 2023. We're probably going to have it, we're expecting in the first half of 23. I think is probably the right answer overall.
Great. And I'll keep you in the hot seat for one more. What is Atlassian doing to assist in support and general response time? For example, responses within 24 hours without needing to wait for the Sydney team to be involved.
Good. That's a great question. So we are spending a lot of time on our support structure overall. We've got a couple of ways to do this. We want to make sure that obviously the collateral that we have or the content that we have is top shelf really when it comes to solving like self-service needs. From that side, we'd also really like to extend our development experience team to be able to answer questions quickly and also to have a direct path to our engineering teams. So we've got a very strong focus on reliability and also support for this coming year, and we're expecting to make pretty good inroads into both of those.
Great. Looking at our questions here. Johnny, I don't suppose you'd want to take one more about the Forge team and the event. Will anyone from the Forge team be speaking at Team 22 in April?
Good stuff. So our, my manager, which is Bala Venkatrao, he'll be speaking at Team 22 and he covers the whole of ecosystem. So he will be there. We will have a couple of people from Forge 2, I believe. We're just working out travel arrangements at the moment.
Yeah, I would also add to that, coming up shortly afterwards in June, we'll have Developer Day, which will very heavily involve the Forge team. So we'll have lots of content that's specifically about Forge. So stay tuned for more details on that. Great. Let's see. Next up, Julia, if you wouldn't mind turning your camera on. I've got another question for you from Daniel Wester. Will Atlassian provide tools for developers to manage the new scopes so that we can update our scopes when we no longer need to use a particular endpoint?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hi, Daniel. I know we spoke a little bit on CDAC already, on the new scopes. So there is not really any, I'm not entirely sure what tools you're referring to, but there's no specific tools that we can help you with updating your particular scopes, because we as Atlassian obviously wouldn't know what scopes your app needs in order to function. So in the CDAC, you would have obviously seen the documentation that leads you to the scopes that are now available. It's not an exact. There's not we can't provide a mapping table really, what old scope, new scope, because there's not an exact mapping. So really it is about, understanding what scopes your app is needing in the old world, and then figuring it out in the new scopes, which one would then apply to. I think the first step is probably the hardest, to do that. Once you've done that, it's obviously much easier because then you already move to a granular scope. So I'm sorry, I can't provide you with a better answer at this stage, but it's literally because we wouldn't know at this stage what scopes your apps are using.
Great, thank you, Julia. And now we're going to bring back Joe Clark in person this time. Joe, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. So this question comes from Julian. Can Compass apps be sold on the marketplace?
It's a good question. I know people are excited about that, but that's not possible just yet. The Compass team still has to integrate with the marketplace and our commerce system. So that's something that will be on the roadmap in the future, but it's not possible today.
Great. Just checking our questions again here. We're starting to kind of wind down a little bit through some of these. Okay, looks like we did have a few more questions come in, but some of those might require a little more research on our part. We might need to take it offline. So I think we'll just wrap it up there. And yeah, so that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Next quarter, we'll be back with more product updates, but we'll be doing something a little bit different that time. So as I mentioned before, instead of our usual webinar, we'll be bringing you Developer Day, which is a half-day virtual event full of product announcements and presentations that'll help you level up your app development. So look out for more on Developer Day in the coming days and weeks. Thank you all again and take care.